Hey guys, what's going on? It's Chaos Meister here, and today I want to give my opinions on the new 180-degree turn Xbox is making from its E3 policies. I'd first like to say I think it's a great thing Microsoft is listening to backlash of feedback, and although it looks slightly embarrassing, like being slated for being the Xbox 180 on Twitter and social media in terms of its full turn on its policies, it is a good thing that so many passionate gamers can influence a company it relies on to provide a service and eventually get that product changed and catered to their needs. Now, in any business practice, not just games, that's the case. After all, it's a free market, and a monopolised free market leads to bad consumerism. So people saying that they wanted the PS4 to win or were PC elitists, I never want to see like that the gaming market being headed just by one company, because it does lead to bad products and a worse service because there's no competition. So it's good, even if you weren't an Xbox fan, to see these changes being implemented and seeing people listening to the consumer. And eventually the feedback that people get leads to these things like policy changes, and in the future that will be remembered. But with this policy of DRM, which no one I think really knew exactly what it fully entailed in the first place, i.e. 90% of the people hating on it, also, with its death, is it a massively great thing that they're changing this? I mean, with its death, that we're losing some of the pros that I was really looking forward to, i.e., not the 10-person party sharing system. Like we're not able to participate in that anymore. So I don't think it's all a good thing, this DRM changing. I mean, yes, we really didn't like it, obviously, but at the same time, we are losing stuff that maybe people didn't really even know we had. I don't think many people knew about a 10-person sharing party system where you shared with friends your own game at the same time, which is wicked. That's better than sharing a game on a disc, because you can share it with your friend at the same time online. That's amazing. But the big point here is not to pre-order your console. I mean, that is the biggest advice I can give out of this, because the policies are changing so much. We don't know what's going to happen. Nothing is certain, and I'm probably going to wait till a week after the console comes out, especially if you can only buy one because of the money and you're a really enthusiastic gamer like I am. Definitely wait till you get it. Don't pre-order. There's no reason to. But the newer issue arising from this is the debate whether the pre-owned system of trade-in games is right or wrong. We're kind of over the DMR thing, DRM thing. Sorry, DMR. I'm thinking about Halo. But yeah, we're thinking more now about the pre-owned system of trade-in games is right or wrong. This is the new big debate. Well, with this system, there are definitely winners and losers. Now, some could say the retailers and consumers gain from the system as they make profit and save money accordingly. Obviously, the big profits are made by the game retailers like GameStop, wherever, and the consumers are used to this system and can save money from it. But if the developers are in fact losing money, which is what will happen because they're never seeing this money when you trade in and it goes to a consumer, it's a consumer to retailer to consumer to retailer. It's never the developer that's getting the money. So yeah, they gain a few pros out of, maybe people buying DLC from it, maybe people, spending money on the game in game things that they wouldn't normally. They don't actually see any money of it. But if the developers are in fact losing money, that surely leads to a lesser investment in the service, which matters more to hardcore gamers and the consumer than the extra £5 or so for a new copy of the game. After all, people get more excited these days over big franchise games like release days and their own birthdays. I mean, a big franchise game is so exciting to some people nowadays. In fact, a lot of people, that they will be, talking about it for weeks and months before it actually even comes out. So the extra £5 is pretty, it's. I mean, I trade in games loads because I don't have much money and I want to get as much games as I can for my money. So I love the idea of trading in games. But at the same time, if I could pay an extra £5 to, see a new release fully polished or better servers for a game that I like, then maybe that is something that I'm willing to do. So after watching a few different arguments and strong opinions, it's fair to say from videos such as Total Halibuts to the opinions of the angry mob of gamers on Twitter that either answer is not really fully correct, and instead it's a very subjective topic. But the point is, until gaming does become fully digital, like Steam, where it will undoubtedly lead towards, when consumers will always demand for the current service of trading in games, especially after so many years being plugged it by these outrageously money-hungry retailers, which, to be fair, would have been hurt drastically by the policies, which would have led to a loss of jobs and stuff like that. But they will at least have to think about changing their own ways and policies after E3. Even if the policies are changed now, it gives them something to think about. Like, Sony hit hard with ridiculing Microsoft with great marketing, and you may have seen the videos like, this is how we trade in games, and you know, but still, it's likely that they themselves will adopt such policies with future digital media products in the future anyway. So the market is always adapting, and fundamental change is often not liked by the consumer. It's just a fact. People see changes on YouTube, they see changes in all walks of life, and people don't like change until they're used to it. Until they've experienced the change and gone, oh, actually, I'm used to this now. I understand. All right, that's great. We're seeing these benefits. Say if we're using the YouTube analogy, seeing these benefits of this subscriber video that everyone's going to see. This is brilliant. I can have this up at all times. Same for games. If they start seeing the improved standard of games they're playing, these new dedicated servers coming out, extra stuff they're getting in games, they're not getting plugged loads of DLC that they have to use. I mean, I played Gears of War, and I got 4 maps on the release, and ended up having to spend loads on DLC, which is just, I mean, I moan about it. It's what people moan about. People moan about EA Online Pass, but let's be honest, they have to make their way they have to make their money somehow, and if not, we're not going to be able to experience the game. And if we're buying traded in games and we're saving money that way, we're going to end up having to put it in somewhere, and it kind of sucks. But anyway, the key thing is, I guess, how do we solve this? I mean, Microsoft probably jumped the gun and didn't handle it too well when they marketed the whole DRM, no trade-in, all this. But it is something that we're inevitably leading towards because of these problems, and also the fact that things are becoming digital. More things are becoming digital. But we do love our trade-in system. It's something that console gamers are used to. It's something that we love. So as a consumer, how can we do this when retailers are just looking to benefit themselves out of it and completely outcast any attempts that developers are saying, look, we need some of that money that you're earning from trading in games. We can't survive, we can't create the stuff, we can't maintain the servers that we would be able to do if we were getting the money that we deserved from every purchase of a game that's used or new. So how can we solve it? That's the question. Well, in my opinion, game stores and money-hungry retailers need to adapt and evolve. They need to change. They push developers and demand too much from them for what they actually do. They just sell the game. Fair enough. That's something that developers need. They need in the market, but they seem to be kind of helping them, but at the same time, sort of, you know, it's like saying, oh, I'll take you on holiday, but then when we get there, I'm going to push you off the cliff. You know, it's fair enough you're taking me on holiday, but now you're pushing, or you know, you're just going to push me off the cliff. Like, yeah, I'll market your games, but I'm going to take all the money off you. You know, it's a terrible business practice because they rely on the developers just as much as developers rely on them. And that's shown by the fact that Microsoft said that they'll change, and everyone was like, oh no, what's going to happen to GameStop? What's going to happen to GameStop if Microsoft do this? And it's something they're going to have to do. They're going to have to adapt. They're going to have to change and include the developers more in the profit making that they're making, or change the way that they sell games. But the way I see it is that developers should actually get involved in the used game industry now. There's a strong direction of them going towards selling DLC to make money, and with that they need as many people buying the games as possible. So if consumers can get games cheaper, then that obviously means that they're going to be spending more on DLC, and more DLC is going to be sold, more maps, more character skins, all this kind of things. But developers should seek a system where they control the used games market rather than banning it. So they shouldn't ban it. I don't think they should ban it. I don't think they should get rid of it. I think that they should adapt to it themselves. So consumers aren't deprived of the system, and developers actually see some of the money from used games, because then we don't suffer. We as a consumer don't suffer. We're used to this trading game. Yeah, developers might not have plugged it to us, but the retailers have, and now we've got it. we sure as hell ain't giving it up. Like I need to trade in games. I'm a skint student. I want to play all the good games that are offered to me that are out there. If I have to wait a week, then I'm gonna do it because I need to play as many of these good games that I can. And I'm a passionate gamer, and I think a lot of people are like me out there. It's alright if you got the money, and people can talk theory and morals, but we do need the system. So what should developers do to get their chunk of the pie? Well, they should literally, in my eyes, say, fuck you retailers, you know, you can sell our games, whatever, but we're not going to keep appeasing your policies. Instead, we're going to undercut you. Maybe think about making their own developers trade in. Maybe under the banner of Microsoft could do a trade-in system where you trade your games straight back into Microsoft, which then they'll trade it in, you send it off to them, and they'll give you the money that the retailer would, but instead the profit from that, when they sell it back on, goes to the developer instead of the retailer. And in that sense, we don't need this middleman retailer if they're going to be if they're going to exclude the developers in the profit making process. Just if the developers make a link with the consumer where they're not only providing the service, like the online servers and the game itself, the product, but they're also doing the trading system that we're used to, then they're going to make the money that the retailers are going to get. They're going to get a good chunk of it at least, and I would be happy to support the developers doing that. But that's my idea, guys. I really think the developers or Microsoft should really think about plugging that side of things, trade into the developers instead of what looks like doing a witch hunt on all things trading in, all things anti-consumer, which obviously isn't going to work if you're selling a product to the customer that disagrees with your policies, like we've seen them having to change their mind. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this commentary, or at least understood basically the point that I'm going for. And I'd like to see your own opinions in the comment section, because this is a debate that I've really got into, and it's something that I'm quite passionate about, because anyone that likes games, anyone that finds gaming fun, they need to be passionate about this, because it is such a big topic that's taken over the community at the moment. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed, and as always, thank you very much, and good night.
Check your aim! I'm a natural! Throwing flag! Enemy spotted! Fire in the hole! Cut down!
Yeah, I'll take that.
Go!
Going somewhere?
amount of ammo.